I've been hooked before, right? You all see me. Yeah. I usually think this is so people can see. I asked permission tonight to close because we've all been really, whatever it was, telling stories. I just tell them in prose, not phenomenal way you guys do. So I'm going to take us back to the 1700s in Eastern Europe. The large Jewish population there we refer to as the Ashkenazic Jews. In other words, they're from that area, like we talk about Southerners from America. And the religion in those days was very dour. I mean, woof, talk about the men would study and study and study. Those who were lucky enough to marry, say, the daughter of a merchant who had enough money, and it was considered a privilege to support these young men as they grew older and as they studied and studied. And services, religious services, were very rigid. And the most life in them was that you chanted certain prayers, very old chants, nothing like music we're beginning to hear in our synagogues now. And there was a man who came along whose name was David ben Eliezer, David the son of Eliezer, a rabbi. And this man didn't see that way. He thought there had to be joy. There had to be the joy of knowing God. There had to be the joy of worshiping. And so he began a movement, and he had some people who followed him. And the Hebrew word really begins with Yiddish, was chassid. A chassid was a follower. So the Hasidic Jews you might hear of today, living in Brooklyn and so on, they're followers of a particular rabbi in general. But this man spread a whole new thing, and it was more joy, more openness, more participation by the congregation, and not just the old guys up front. And he became very, very popular. And there came a time during his rabbinate when his people faced a tremendous challenge. Well, he knew something special. He knew a place he could go in the forest, a very special place. And he knew how to build a fire, a very special fire, a certain way. And he knew a special prayer to say. And when he'd done all that and came back, why, the problem had vanished. Call it a miracle, whatever. Now, he was called the Baal Shem Tov, he of the good name. And the Baal Shem Tov lived for many years, and he had occasion to do this little pattern. And when he passed away, when his time came, the Maggid of Mezrich, Maggid being a storyteller, a learned storyteller from the town of Mezrich, became his follower. He became the one who took over his position. And you know, now he knew about this going out to the woods and everything, and when his people had a tremendous problem, why, he too would go out to the woods. Now he knew the place. He didn't know how to make the fire that special way, but he knew the prayer. And so he would do that, say the prayer. And when he came back, why, the problem had been taken care of. Eventually his time came also. And he was followed by, I can't think of his name, a rabbi from Rishon is the name of the town. And anyway, this rabbi, well, he had the same following. And when his people had great problem, now, he knew where to go in the woods, didn't know how to make the fire, had not been taught the prayer. But when he came back, why, it was enough. Again, the curse was lifted. And then he passed away. And his follower, his disciple, well, his people had a great problem come upon them, a chance where they probably were going to get wiped out. Now, he didn't know where the place was in the woods. And he didn't know how to make the fire. He had no idea what the prayer was. But he knew the story. And that was enough.